Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily, and today I have a classic knitting podcast episode for you where we will talk about a finished object, which, spoiler alert, I am wearing, some works in progress, and what I'm listening to, reading, and watching. So if that sounds good to you, please stick around. I'm really looking forward to talking about yarn with you today. Lovely spring day today. The sun is shining. I have the back door open. It's supposed to be up to 15 degrees today. We're having a great time. Last time I sat down to film a knitting podcast, it was very cold and I was not pleased about that. So this is a lovely change of pace. All I want to do is sit on a patio, but we're getting there. It's mid-March where we've got time. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about today is my finished object, and this is my Madeline sweater by Pernille Larsen. I will try to show it, but I might take a separate video and put it on the screen. I don't know. But this is what it looks like. So I knit this on 4.5mm needles out of the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the color Blueberry Ice Cream. This is my first time using this yarn, and I really liked it. It feels very cool to the touch, like a summery kind of, like a plant fiber would, but it doesn't feel super heavy, and the wool content really helps it not to just be like a tent on me. So I think that's really helping it like retain its shape. I really love the way this finished object looks. I made a couple of modifications to the pattern. Firstly, I was knitting slightly off gauge. So like I said, I was knitting on the suggested needle size, which the 4.5mm needles was really attractive to me. So I didn't want to go down a needle size because I thought it would kind of help it just fly off the needles. And with the sort of more intricate lace pattern and the all over lace, I really didn't want to get to a place where I felt like it was dragging. So I wanted to stick with the 4.5mm needles. And I was really good and gauge swatched. Sorry, my dog is bathing his legs. Hopefully the mic does not pick that up. Or else you're gonna have some lovely tongue sound ASMR. But yeah, so I was really good and I gauge swatched very diligently. I washed and blocked my swatch. I measured it very carefully. So I realized I was knitting at a bigger gauge than the pattern suggested. So instead of changing my needle size and trying to match the gauge perfectly, which never really works out for me, what I did instead was just do some math and figure that if I knit the size 2, I would end up with about the body measurements of the size 4, which is what I was planning to knit. So I knit the size 2, which is an extra bonus, was less stitches. So I think that helped it to go by a little bit faster too, but it ended up fitting pretty much exactly how I wanted it to. Another modification that I made was to the neckline here. The pattern calls for a double folded stockinette collar, but that just felt a little bit heavy to me for the type of, like, I'm picturing this as like a beachy kind of summery, like summer evening sweater. Like that's the vibe, that's the fantasy. And that collar just felt a little bit heavy to me. I wanted it to be more open up top and just kind of like lay across my shoulders. So I did an I-cord collar instead, which I think looks really nice. I went up to a 5mm needle and picked up every stitch around, or picked up one stitch for every row around the collar, which I don't know if that's right. I've never knit an I-cord collar before, but it worked out great. And like I said, I wanted it to be a little bit looser, so I'm happy with the way that it turned out. If it ever sort of stretches out too much, then I can always undo it and re-knit it, picking up less stitches. But for now, I really like the way that it turned out. And honestly, I'm okay with it stretching out even a little bit more and almost becoming like a boat neck. So we'll see what happens with like as I wear the sweater. And then the only other modification that I made was the pattern calls for grafting the stitches like with a Kitchener stitch at the shoulder. This is knit bottom up. So the pattern calls for grafting the shoulder stitches and grafting the sleeves with Kitchener stitch, but I know that can be a pretty, I don't want to say flimsy, but it can be a pretty flimsy, less sturdy, maybe is the right word, way of sort of attaching stitches. So what I did instead was like an inside out 3-needle bind off. So can I show you without exposing my whole self? So I did a 3-needle bind off for the shoulders, and then I 3-needle bind offed the sleeves to the like armholes, which I've also never done before. And apparently doing 3-needle bind off in the round takes slightly more brain power than I gave it, because the front is pretty seamless and looks lovely, but the back actually ended up with the 3-needle bind off seam on the outside. So that's this seam here. I made sure to do it the same on the other side, so I'm fine with it. It almost just looks like an extra purl row, but that was not supposed to be there. So mistakes that we live with. As far as I'm concerned, the back of this garment is none of my business, but it does look great aside from that, which is not really noticeable anyway. So like I mentioned, this is knit bottom up. I actually ended up knitting the sleeves first. I was a little bit worried about my gauge and about changing the size, like making sure my math worked out and everything. So I figured if I had to undo and restart, starting with a sleeve would be sort of the way to do that without wasting like a ton of knitting. Not that it's a waste. But so I started with the sleeves first, which meant that by the time the body was done, I was done the knitting. So that felt really, really nice. There was no sort of like sleeve island feeling. The lace chart was also really fun. I found that it's kind of split into two parts. So there's like this chunk with the purling at the start and end of the round. And then there's this part with kind of like the decreases to create the V. So I found it really easy to kind of get lost in it and like want to get to that halfway point in the chart to start doing the other kind of movements, techniques. And then by the time I got to the end, it was really easy to just kind of get lost in one chart repeat. And, you know, you only repeat 5 times for the sleeves, and then 4 times in the round for the body. And by then you're doing like armhole shaping, shoulder shaping. So it really didn't drag, which I was very pleased with because I've never done an all over lace garment before. I love knitting this. I hesitate to say I would knit another one because how many of these does a girl need? But I think it would make a really nice short sleeve top as well. And I actually, before I attached the sleeves, it looked really cute as a tank top. So who knows, maybe I'll do like a one sleeve or a 1 chart repeat for a short sleeve version someday. Who knows? Anyways, that is my Madeline sweater. I feel like I've tried to stop talking about this and then remembered something else like 3 times now, but now I'm done. This is my Madeline sweater. I love it. I can't wait to wear it more this summer, this spring. So that is actually my only finished object. So let's move on to my works in progress. So the first whip I want to update you on today is my Stella quilt blanket. This won't be a huge update from my last knitting podcast because I've kind of put this away, but last time I showed you this, I was working on this square and I have now completed it. Wow, that looks amazing. So this is my second completed square of my Stella quilt blanket. I did mention this in my last knitting podcast, but I'm knitting this on, oh, this is covered in dog hair. I am knitting this on 4mm needles, and the main color, the white, is Juniper Moon Farms Patagonia Organic Merino, which is a worsted spun sport to DK weight yarn. It's definitely thinner than like a fingering weight held double, which is a lot of my contrast colors, but I think because it is a woolen spun yarn. Because it's a woolen spun yarn, I think it's really going to fluff up and like become more robust when I block it. So I'm not really worried about it. I love the texture of this yarn. I love the way it feels. It almost feels like a cotton ball. I don't know. So anyways, I love this. I have had this, sorry, I just hit the mic. I have had this on the back burner for a little while, but now that I've finished my Madeline sweater, I think I'm ready to get back into something like this, especially as the weather gets warmer. I think this is going to be a really nice light project to knit through the summer, just because it's knit in small little pieces. It never gets too heavy. And the colors are fun. I love knitting with these different colors. I think I mentioned these in my last podcast, so I'll just quickly go through them. I don't know what the colors are. This is Sandnes Garn Sunday, held double. This is a hand-dyed yarn from Alley Cat Yarns, held double. This is also a hand-dyed sock yarn from Alley Cat Yarns, held double. And the rest are from Koigu paint cans, which is like a little paint can filled with 5 mini skeins of yarn, which I got for Christmas specifically to work on this. So these are my silk quilt squares. I'll try to keep you updated as I finish them. I really like the way they look together. I'm very excited to have this someday. I have no plans to finish this blanket soon, but I love it. It's a fun project. Highly recommend. The next whip that I want to show you is my frog. I love him so much. I started him a few days ago. Everything that I've knit, I did in the same night. I got discouraged because I don't love knitting I-cord, and I had just done the neckline of this sweater. So I did one leg, and I haven't done the other 3 I-cord legs yet. And then I'm going to add some eyes, probably just like embroider some black yarn on there. I don't want to buy like safety eyes. I've also already sewn it up. So this is my frog by Claire Garland. It's a super fun pattern. My gauge is not great, or my tension's not great, but I don't really care. Also, my sewing is mediocre at best. Oh my gosh, sorry about my nails. Wow, this is a mess. As always, maybe that's why you're here. Anyways, he's got like these really cute little toes, and he's just fun. So I'm excited to finish him. I'll finish him up soon, and he'll probably just like live on my desk or something. I don't know. I believe this is knit out of Estelle Eco Shetland worsted, but I could for sure be wrong about that. I bought these yarns this is like some of the first yarn I ever bought. So the labels are long gone and it's been balled up for years. But the colors are great. I think it's like this sort of bluish green teal color. It's like a bluish green color. And I'm knitting him on 3.5 millimeter needles. So hopefully next time I film, this will be done. I don't want to have a half finished frog living in my house. I want a finished frog living in my house. So that's my frog. You should all knit a frog. It's very fun. Next on my list of knitted animals should be an emotional support chicken. I love that thing so much. So that might be next. Okay, that's all I have to say about this frog. He's very small and very cute. The next whip that I want to show you is my Harvest Throw by Alexandra Tavel, or Two of Wands. I had started this the last time we talked, but I hadn't gotten very far. And again, while I obsessively knit my Madeline sweater, this kind of was on the back burner, but now that I finished this, I'm back to working on this, and I have made some really great progress. It looks even better on camera. Oh, and I'm happy you can see the pattern. One of my concerns with this is I think I've just been staring at it too long, but I thought it was kind of hard to see like the zigzags, but now that I'm looking at it on camera, it's actually really easy to see. So I have this folded in half, but it is, of course, wider than that. And this is just a Knits and Pearls. I think it's an 8-row repeat, so it's pretty easy. I'm knitting this on 8mm needles, so big old boys. Look at those. Look at those chunksters. And I'm using Lion Brand Hue and Me in the color Saffron. So I ordered this through, this is hard to find in Canada, but I think I ordered it through the Walmart website, and they sold them in packs of 3. So that was really nice. Got a little bit of like a bundle deal there, and I didn't have to order it from the States, or like go find it across the border, which I wouldn't have done. But anyways, it's nice to, I have used this yarn before for another blanket, and I really, really like it. It's super soft. It's got like a little bit of a fluffy halo, which I think just makes it like a nice blanket yarn. It doesn't feel super squeaky or acrylic-y. It feels like a higher quality yarn. So yeah, this is in the color Saffron, which I think I mentioned, and I'm just plugging away on this. Last time I showed this, I was talking about the chart not being super intuitive. Like I couldn't sort of just put it away and knit, but I'm in a lot more of a groove now. Obviously, look at, as you can clearly see. So that's also motivating me to just like pick this up and work on it more. So I think there's 3 whole skeins in here now, and I have 9, so I'm a third of the way through. And yeah, I'm excited to get this done. And I was also debating whether I was going to add the tassels that the pattern includes. And I think I will, because that's just fun. So when this is done, I'll add the tassels and give you another update. Okay, and then the last whip that I have to show you today is my Pressed Flowers vest by Amy Christoffers. So I started this last May. It's been on the needles for almost a year now, but I put it away shortly after that. I think I cast it on basically to work. Last May I went to Paris for the Eras tour, which was the best day of my life, including my wedding. No offense to my husband. But I basically cast this on to bring with me and work on the plane, because I thought it would just be a good time to get a ton of knitting done. And then because we were only in Paris for like 48 hours, I was way too tired on the way home to work on this. So, and then I ended up putting it away for, oh no, hang on. Stitches coming loose. There we go. And then I put it away for a year. So I've recently picked this back up because I'm trying to clear out some of the whips that have just been sitting on my shelf forever. Of course, this being one of them. And now that I'm working on it again, I love it. It's so fun. It's mosaic knitting. You've probably seen some variation. Oh my gosh, these freaking needles are so slippery. Could really just get some needle stoppers, but we're not going to do that. So you've probably seen some variation of this pattern before. There are socks, there's a shawl, there's a sweater, there's tons of stuff in the Pressed Flowers collection. I'm doing the slip over because of the amount of yarn I have. So I am using, the main color is Noro Sonata in the color Deep Sea, which I believe is 34. And this is a silk, I meant to look up what this was. I'll put it on the screen. It's a silk blend. I can't remember what else is in it. I know there's some synthetic fiber in there, but so that's the main color. It's like like a greenish blue, but more blue than green, but it definitely leans more green than like red. Than purple, I mean. What is color theory? And then the contrast color I'm using is Noro Kompeito in the color 1, which is Shiro. So I picked this up again last spring. I think this was a new yarn last year, like a new line from Noro, but I could definitely be wrong about that. But this is, again, a similar like silk summer yarn, and I am just obsessed with this. This is half the reason that I love knitting the Pressed Flowers, is because I just love seeing what color is going to come out next and in what vibrancy. So there's one flower on here. I mean, they're all really colorful, but yeah, this one and this one like some of them just get these vibrant pulls of fiber, and oh, it's just so beautiful and so fun. And I honestly, I don't know if I'll ever wear this. This is like not really my style, but I don't know, maybe. But I really just think it's beautiful and fun. And I love that it's kind of like a plaid looking, I don't know, I just like it. Oh, sorry. And this is on 3.75 millimeter needles. And I do not know what size I'm knitting. I cannot remember what size I cast on, but since I'm just working in the round, I don't have to know yet. So I will figure that out when I need to. And if that means counting how many stitches I have, I will do that. But for now, we're just working our way up. And since I've picked this back up, I've knit like a full repeat of the flower. So that's sort of where I'm at versus where I was before. And that is all I have to say about this guy. So those are all my works in progress. I've waited quite some time since my last episode before filming this one because I wanted to save up some stuff and make sure that I had enough to talk about, which sounds kind of silly, but isn't. Like, I'm not forcing myself to, knit or finish things just to film. I'm just kind of filming when I've saved up some content, I guess. So let's talk about some future plans. And my future plans are that I don't really have any. I'm really like enjoying the sort of knitting groove that I'm in right now. I'm not feeling like pressured to get stuff done. I'm not feeling like, I need to fill spaces in my wardrobe. I'm sure there are spaces to be filled, but I'm just like really enjoying the things that I'm doing a lot of this. I'm really enjoying the things that I'm working on. I like knitting like a big chunky blanket. And when I'm done with that, I think I'm planning to just kind of go back to my Stella quilt blanket, focus on that for a little while. Like I said, I think that's going to be a nice little summer knit to carry around with me as I'm, I don't know, doing stuff. I'll keep working on my pressed flowers vest. I would like to get that done soon-ish as well. I'm not super rushing that one because it is on smaller-ish needles. Oh, and then I have kind of a loose-ish plan. I have a few knits that I would like to fix so that I wear more. I can't remember if I talked about this previously, but I have a waffle loop sweater by Other Loops that the collar, I just picked up too many stitches. Wow, this is really becoming a theme, isn't it? I just picked up too many stitches, so it kind of flops. It doesn't look really crisp. So I think fixing that, and then I don't love the hem on that one. So I want to fix that. And then I have an Ingrid sweater as well that I literally just need to reblock. Well, that's the first step. I don't love the way the sleeves fit on that one. On me, they're just like, I don't even know what it is. Something's a little off. It just feels very like, if you know what I mean, if that makes any sense at all. It feels a little stiff. So I think I'm going to try blocking it, see if that makes a difference. And then if not, I can sort of figure out my next steps after that. But yeah, so I'd like to spend some time doing that and kind of caring for the knits that I already have and making sure that they're as wearable as they can be and like as useful as they can be, because I poured so much time into them that I'd like to wear them as much as I can. Shocking, I know. And then also I just bought my train ticket actually to go to Knit City, Montreal in May. I'm just going on the Saturday. So if you are going, let me know. I'd love to meet other knitters and talk about yarn. So when I'm there, I might try to pick up like a summer fiber, like a summer yarn for a ranunculus, or I'd like to knit a cumulus tee as well. But my main plan when I go to Knit City is just to pick up a couple of really fun skeins for my Stella quilt blanket. Maybe like pick up 7 mini skeins to be able to do a star out of Knit City Montreal skeins. Ooh, actually that's a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. All my best ideas come when I'm filming. You're seeing this in real time, folks. So maybe I'll pick up some mini skeins and then one like 100-gram skein or 200-gram skeins for other squares with like the single color motif. So that's my main plan when I go, but I'll like, I'll, of course, keep my options open. You never know what you're going to find. But ultimately, I am more of a like hand-dyed yarn girl for accessories more so than for garments. I always find that I like hand-dyed yarns better in the skein or in the hank than knit. So I'm going to try not to get too like swept up in the moment because it's very overwhelming and very fun to be there. But yeah, we will see what happens. But yeah, that is really all I have to say about knitting today. Before I started planning this video, I thought, oh, this video is going to be really short. And then I planned this video and I thought, oh, this video is going to be really long. And now it's only been half an hour. So this is actually going to be a nice length episode, I think. But let's talk about what I'm reading, because I'm reading lots right now. So I just finished Heir of Fire. I'm working my way through the Throne of Glass series right now, and it was my favorite one so far. Spoiler alert, I guess I might mention some spoilers. So if you're reading Throne of Glass and you haven't gotten to the third book yet, fast forward or be aware. So Heir of Fire was my favorite of the Throne of Glass series so far. I loved seeing Selena just get to be like sick. She like really, it's hard for me. I feel like her and like Selena and Aelin are like two different people. So I'll be interested to see how that kind of like melds together in hopefully the next book. My one, I don't even think it's a qualm. Like my one like moment I had with Heir of Fire was the pacing of Manon. You know, when like you're reading a fantasy book and then you say something out loud for the first time and you're like, how is that pronounced? Anyways, the pacing of Manon's storyline I found to be a little bit strange, especially at the end. Like at the end of the book, I just finished this last night, by the way, so my opinions are very fresh. But near the end of Heir of Fire, like we have Aelin, going to see Maeve and freeing Rowan. And that to me really felt like the end of the book, like the wind down and like the last kind of scenes of the book. But then we flip back to Manon and she's like, hasn't even done the war games yet. Also the parallels between Manon and like Manon's storyline and Fourth Wing were wild. I had whiplash the entire time. But going back to from like the end of Selena Aelin's storyline to Manon, like being pre-war games, it was a little bit jarring. Like I thought we were in the wind down and then we got right back into the action, which I didn't love, but I can understand the choice to, have like some peaks and valleys. So I didn't hate it, didn't love it, didn't really get it, I think. But it was a great book and I'm very looking forward to reading the next one. I can never remember what the names are. I think it's the Queen of Shadows is the next one. I don't know. But I'm taking a break from Throne of Glass because I just yesterday got Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm very excited. Also, this is my Kindle. This is my Kobo. It's very cute. We love her. I started this last night. I'm like halfway through I'm like a quarter of the way through chapter 1. So I have no opinions yet, other than I'm excited to read about Haymitch as a 16-year-old pre-alcoholism. Yeah. So we'll see. I haven't read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, like the other prequel. So I don't know how these are going to compare to the original series, which I absolutely love. Actually, I think I was reading them when I filmed my last video. I'm really hopeful that this is almost as good as the original. I'm hoping that like Suzanne Collins is writing these for a reason because she has more to say and not just like for, money purposes, which based on the content of the books, I don't think is the case, but that's just like in the back of my mind. But again, like I said, I started this last night. I have zero opinions yet. I'm currently watching Severance, and the only note I've written about Severance is OMG. I've heard some mixed things about this season, but I am really liking it. I love like the Gemma insight that we're getting. I felt like I didn't need a whole Cobell episode, but I liked it. And I'm kind of reserving any opinions until the last episode airs because anything could happen. But I love Severance. I think it's one of the best TV shows that has ever been on TV. Yeah, you'll catch no Severance slander in this house. We love it. We love her. And then the other TV show I'm watching is White Lotus. I have watched seasons 1 and 2, and I'm working my way through, of course, season 3 as it comes out, and I am really enjoying it so far. I do miss Tanya, but I'm still enjoying the season regardless. Saxon is a trash, like a true dumpster man, which I mean is not shocking, but it's a fun season to watch. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of reading you can do into each of the characters and like their motivations, and that's what I really like about it, is the characterization more than the story, like the plot. And I think that's really what it's about, is the characters more than the plot. But it's also always fun that is that the right word? Like there's like the murder mystery element of it as well, which is like an extra fun layer. That's what I'm watching. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is I recently found a YouTube channel called Stories from the Kashina. And it's this couple who a couple of years ago, I want to say in 2022, maybe 2023, they bought an abandoned farmhouse in the north of Italy. And I'm working my way through the whole backlog of YouTube videos. There's like 70 something updates, but it's all about them renovating the farmhouse, learning how to like do all sorts of renovation things, learning how to like live on, a farm. And they seem like such lovely people. And all I want to do when I watch it is like leave it all behind and move to an abandoned farm in Italy. So if you like some escapist content, I highly recommend Stories from the Kashina. They're just wonderful. So that is all I have to say today. I'm out of words, and yeah, I've had a great time filming this. I'm gonna go take my dog first I'm gonna go eat some lunch. I think I've said that in every video so far. I'm gonna go eat some lunch, gonna take my dog for a walk, and enjoy the sunshine. I hope that it is a sunny, warm day where you are, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for sticking around. Bye.